shared about, I think, 10 words, like to expand something as well as to make something bigger. So those are all synonyms. So what we're going to share today is واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة سبعة ثمانية تقريبا eight verbs. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to join us and I'll say salam alaikum. Let's see who's here. Assalamu alaikum. All right, so I'm just going to start quickly and then everyone can join us in a bit. The first verbs I have selected, they share the exact same root as the second verb. But then the third set of verbs that I have selected share the exact same meaning. And I'll explain to you how we can transition from the root into the meaning, and then we go forward to learning about how to say a person is hopeful, a person is contemplative, a person is a thinker. So let's see how many of you are above the chat. Let me see. Assalamu alaikum. I'll just open the chat from my phone so I can see everyone. So the first verb is فكر, to think, and يفكر. فكر يفكر, and we have التفكير, thinking. أريد أن أفكر في فكرة. I think about an idea, and then we have the word idea. صباح الخير عارف. And then we have a person who is a thinker. We say هو مفكر. هو مفكر في التراث العربي. He is a thinker in the Arab heritage. You could also say هو يفكر في حل. He is thinking about a solution. This is the present tense and this is the past tense. The meaning of thinking is the gerund. Then you move on to تفكر. تفكر is to contemplate, to meditate. أتفكر في خلق الله, like in the creation of God. So this is more of like meditation, thinking, prolonged thinking, which is different from thinking about an idea, but you contemplate, you're looking at something and you're meditating. Contemplation is similar to hoping for something, as well as focusing on something. And this one is تأمل. تأمل. تأمل and أمل are quite different. تأمل rhymes with تفكر. As you can see, they both share the exact same meaning. تفكر, تأمل. You move to أمل, it doesn't share the same meaning as تأمل, but it shares the exact same root, which is ألف ميم لام. And you have hope, contemplation, and hope. Let's see how many of you can write these in sentences. The first one is فكر. تفكر, تأمل, أمل. The noun is التفكير, التفكر, التأمل, الأمل. The person who executes this verb or this action is مفكر, thinker, متفكر, contemplative, متأمل, as well as متفكر, they're the exact same thing, and آمل is similar to متفائل, which is hopeful. So we'll start with فكر يفكر. Let's see the chat and we can use فكر يفكر in sentences. As soon as we're done with this live, I'm going to share with you an image or a screenshot of this list. That way you can write it and form your own sentences. So we're preparing for other classes, and I was thinking that I could share with you this list since we have thought about how to use roots with kabbara, takabbara. Kabbara is to expand, and then takabbara is to be arrogant. So they share the exact same root, but they have completely different meanings. So let's see how many of you will have the okay. Let's see your sentences. تأمل, تفكر, وفكر, and then أمل. And this is one of the ways we could apply to learn how to memorize Arabic vocabulary. So I see you. Assalamu alaikum. Miser Fazil. Ahlan wa sahlan. Arif. Masa'ul khair. It's sabahul khair here. So let's say تفكر. تفكر الرجل في خلق الله. تفكر الرجل في خلق الله. The man contemplated in the creation of God. This is تفكر. The other sentence that we can think about is فكر, to think. فكر الرجل في فكرة. The man thought about an idea. فكر الرجل في فكرة. The other sentence we could say is we change فكر الرجل في فكرة into فكرت المرأة في فكرة. The woman thought about an idea. So both of them have فكر, but then you're thinking about how to state the feminine and the masculine. So let's see. I'll write my sentences here in the chat so you can see. We say فكر الرجل في فكرة. And then we have فكرت المرأة. And you can check the live chat to see these sentences. فكرت المرأة في فكرة. Then we have تفكر الرجل. تفكر الرجل في خلق الله. هو مفكر. And you can look at the live chat to see the sentences I'm writing. هو مفكر في التراث العربي. He is a thinker in the Arabic heritage. هو متأمل في خلق الله. He is contemplative in the creation of God. هو متأمل. So let's see your sentences. I have placed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. And the other one we said, okay, I can say amala, to hope for something. And my sentence would be amulu, because the verb has alif in it. What I'm going to do is I'll extend or I'll expand the sound of alif. I would go amal, amala, to hope. But if I say I hope, I would just stretch the sound of and I would say amulu. آمل أن أدرس اليوم. I hope to study today. آمل أن أدرس اليوم. And here you have about 6 sentences. Let's see your examples using these verbs. آمل أن أدرس اليوم. السلام عليكم خيسر. So if you could use these verbs, فكر, تفكر, تأمل, and أمل. As you can see, what we're doing is we're looking at the roots. They share the exact same root, which is the F, the K, and the R, both of these. But if you move on to تأمل, they don't share the exact same root, but they share the exact same meaning. تفكر and تأمل. The other interesting fact about roots in Arabic, sometimes they would connect the word to the letters, but other times they would connect the meaning to the exact other meaning, which is here contemplation, and then another contemplation, but as well as the pattern. Like you can see here, التفكر, it rhymes with التفاعل, and then you would say التأمل, التأمل, التفكر, التأمل. التفكير rhymes with التحضير, preparation. التنظيف cleaning, التكبير expansion or expanding, التكبير. And then you could learn by going through the root system. You can rely on the root system to learn more vocabulary that would take you to another set of words that share the exact same meaning. Or you could learn by setting up a list of patterns like تفكير, تكبير, تحضير, تنظيف, and all of those would share the exact same pattern as تفكير. You could also go like التفكر, التحضر, التقدم, التعلم. All of those are words that share the exact same pattern as التفكر. And of course it rhymes with التأمل. You could also go for الأمل, الأمل, العمل. And for those that are learning, or individuals that are learning sounds in Arabic, the A and the Ain are quite confusing. So you would go الأمل, الأمل, hope. But if you're thinking about work, you would say العمل. The only thing that you would change is the alif. So write down words and see what other confusing sounds they could relate to. Like here you have alif and ain. Or you can write the word and think about the shared rhymes, التأمل, التفكر. Or you could think also of التفكير and التحضير, التنظيم, التقليل, التعريف, and all of those words that rhyme with the first set. So let me see your sentences. المدرسة أمل تعمل فهمي. Sneak peek. So المدرسة أملي. I could say school is my hope. Or I could say something like آمل أن أفهم. I hope to understand. آمل أن أفهم الدرس. آمل أن أفهم الدرس. If you want to relate understanding to lessons, and then you want to activate the verb أمل. حاجي قال فكرت خديجة في تعليم اللغة العربية. ممتاز. Haji is saying فكرت خديجة. Khadija thought about teaching Arabic. That's a wonderful example. I could say فكرت خديجة في, thinking in something. فكرت خديجة في تعليم اللغة العربية. أهلا وسهلا سيد. Let's see. آمل أن أتعلم اللغة العربية لكي أسافر. Kevin, أهلا Kevin. صحيح. I hope to learn the Arabic language in order to, and then Kevin is activating his vocabulary, which is in order to, لكي أسافر. مرحبا من أبو ظبي. أهلا. Okay. آمل هناك في الصباح. I hope there is, so Mr. Food Explorer Traveler, I'm trying to relate the meaning of your sentence to أمل. أتمنى. Here's another one. أتمنى is related to the meaning of I hope, and you could say أتمنى أن. I hope to, or I wish. I hope to have a good hope this morning. Something like that. آمل أن يكون أمل جديد هذا اليوم. I hope to, there is a, okay. آمل أن يكون أمل جديد هذا اليوم. I hope there is a new hope today. I hope there is a new hope today would be آمل أن يكون أمل جديد هذا اليوم. آمل أن أدرس اليوم. That's our sentence. ممتاز. جميل جدا. Okay, how about the verb تأمل. 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 How about تأمل? ممتاز. Sneak peek is saying آمل أن أدرس درس جديد. آمل أن أدرس درس جديد. جميل جدا. آمل أن أدرس درس جديد. جميل. So I'll write my sentences over here. Let me get my pens. Oh, my markers, I should say. There we go. So I will go and write the sentence here. آمل أن. I hope to. آمل أن أسافر. I hope to travel. And you could add more information. تأمل. Or I could say أتأمل. أتأمل في الطبيعة. I meditate in nature. أتأمل في الطبيعة. Or I look and I think about nature. I meditate in nature. Then I could say أتفكر. And أتفكر has nothing to do with أتذكر. It rhymes with it, but it does not share the same meaning. أتذكر. أتذكر is I remember. But أتفكر, I meditate or I contemplate. Meditate. So we could use أتفكر to meditate and أتأمل, and we could use فكر to think. The other one, when I think students, what they have done before is they have used the English translation of I think that. I would not say أفكر أن. What I would say is أظن أن. ظن, which is more of a guessing. أظن أني سأسافر. I think that I will travel. أظن أني سأسافر. أظن أنه مفكر. I think he's a thinker. أظن أنه متفائل. I think that he is hopeful. So I'm using أظن, which has nothing to do with to think. This one is more of a word you could say when you are, it's a statement in English. You would say, I think that. But in Arabic, you would say, أظن أن. آمل أن يكون فكرة. ممتاز. Sneak peek. آمل أن تكون فكرة جيدة. There is another sentence. I hope that I hope that it is a good idea. آمل أن تكون. فكرة is feminine, so I have to state the ta at the beginning of the verb to be. So I would say, I hope to. آمل أن تكون فكرة جيدة. آمل أن تكون فكرة جيدة. I'll write this over here. So I could say آمل أن. I hope that it is a good idea. أن تكون فكرة جيدة. فكرة جيدة. ممتاز. So what I'm changing over here is تكون, because فكرة is feminine, and then I'm saying جيدة, which is feminine. All right, so let me take your questions. If you have any questions about the root system before we end today's live, I just wanted to share with you how you could put shared meanings through the root system, as well as the rhyming system, which is the form. In Arabic, there are about 10 different forms. Each verb has a different rhyming or a different pronunciation, but you could also categorize or group different sets of verbs that share the exact same form. And then you'll have like thousands and thousands of verbs for form 1, for instance, or thousands of verbs for form 2. So you could just categorize that based on the form as well as the root system. Like I explained earlier in today's life, when you're learning a word in Arabic, you could either approach the word through the root system, or you could think about the word through the rhyming system. If you're thinking about rhyming system and you want to practice pronunciation, I would suggest rhyming, because you're going for tafkir. It's about Arabic sounds. You're going tafkir, tadrib, tahadhir. So you see how I'm saying everything is like the same pronunciation. تحضير, تحفيز, تدريس, تعليم. It rhymes with تفكير. So I could just learn this way. I put my list of words and I put تفكير, تحضير, تنظيف, تدريس. If I want to learn about the root system, I look for the letters. Here I have FKR. I look for the letters that are shared among the list of verbs that I have, and then I start learning through the root system. So 2 ways you could learn: root and rhyming system. Let me take your questions. For me, it's too much as I must. Okay. عارف. Because for beginners, what you could do is learn through the rhyming system, because it will help you with the long vowels and the short cases. Beginner students, what we do in our classes, and most of the instructors that we have worked with, we usually group words based on the sounds. That way it's easier for the student or for the learner to rhyme the words. They follow one pattern, they keep going with it. Like درس, كتب, قرأ, ذهب. So if you're learning in the beginning level, you would go for ذهب, قرأ, كتب, مسح, and you have فتحة, فتحة, فتحة. So you're learning short cases. For nouns, you're learning the long vowels, and you would go for ear, tafkir. So for beginners, I would always suggest that you start learning Arabic through the rhyming system, where you bring a set of words that share the exact same sounds, meaning pattern. The other set, I would say, let me see if someone is asking a different question. Khaisar is saying أفكر في السفر إلى المغرب. Great. And the prepositions of place are one crucial element that you have to remember. When you're thinking about a verb, what preposition of place I have to put with that verb? I think about. In English, you would say about, but in Arabic, you would say in. So as you're translating, you're saying, I think in traveling. You're not saying, I think about traveling. All right. آمل أن تأكل بيتزا طازة. ممتاز. I hope to eat fresh pizza. آمل أن آكل pizza طازة or طازجة. Could you quickly go over the alif and ayn sound? Okay. Here's the alif and ayn sound. The word we have over here is amal. Amal. For beginner learners, what they think that they're hearing is a ayn, not an a, because they haven't built up that muscle where you are pronouncing the a. What I would suggest is that have a list of words and that begin with alif, which I'm going to state now. Amal, amal, ahad, ahad, akhad, akhad. All these 3 words I started with a. If I'm going to start with ayn, listen to it. I will go with aynab, aynab, amal, amal, uyun, uyun. So I'm going for ayn, ayn, ayn. As you put in 2 lists together or 2 sets of words, one with a and one with ayn, you can tell the difference. You're looking at the script and you're pronouncing the word. And here, al-amal, al-same a, al-amal, al-amal. Same for at-ta'ammul, a. Think about the word apple. which is tufaha. Apple, you would not say apple, you have to say apple. So think of your native language sounds and what words do you have that begin with A, and how can you switch the A sound to Ain, and how strange that word might sound to you because you're a native speaker. You'd be like, we don't say Ain, we say A. So those are just some ways you could learn. Rafia, Kareem, I hope I answered your question. Aisha. Yeah, Aisha, I hope I answered your question. Let me see if you're still hearing the Ain. تأمل. نعم. تأمل is to contemplate. يتأمل. يأمل. Here, يتأمل is to contemplate. يأمل is to hope. It has no T over here. يأمل. يأمل في السفر. يأمل في حياة هنيئة. He is hoping for a good life. All right, Aisha, you were able to hear Ain and Alif. ممتاز. آمل أن تتعافى بسرعة. I love this statement, خيسر. جميل جدا. I hope that you recover quickly. آمل أن تتعافى بسرعة. That's an excellent statement that's very common. When people are sick, you would state this in your email or in your text message. I hope that you recover quickly, which is آمل أن تتعافى بسرعة. بارك الله فيك. شكرا. حلال vocals. Alhamdulillah. So all you have to do, as we are learning the Arabic root system, this video is about how you can learn Arabic by relying or through the Arabic roots. You rely on the Arabic roots to learn more vocabulary and write down the letters. You rely on Arabic sounds, which are Arabic rhyming, words that share the exact same pattern, to learn how to speak. And for those who learn Quran, what they do is usually they rely on the sounds. They don't rely on the meaning, but they rely on the sounds, especially in the Nuraniya approach. There's a lot of repetition, and they would hear an, in, on. So what they're doing is they're looking at the script, but they're learning the sounds. The meaning comes later on as they take other parts of understanding the meaning of Quran. That's a whole different discipline. But when you're learning how to read it, you learn through the sounds. That's why a lot of people, they would rely on repetition, and words that share the exact same rhyme. Okay. Shukran. Okay, let's practice now other sets of words. I'll put them over here for you. And these are posted in the community, which has to do with greatness, something big. And this would be our last word to practice. Look at the sounds and look at the script. When I say the script, meaning the words that you could share, or the words that share the root letters. Let me see where my eraser is. Oh, it's in my hand. There we go. Okay. Oops, I hope this doesn't fall. And the words we are learning that we could add to this set, and you can find the list in the community, is kabbara. Kabbara. When you're thinking about kabbara, there are two meanings. There is when you expand something, you make it big, make something big. And here I'm saying K, I'm not saying Q. For beginners, this is not Q, this is K sound. Kabbara, not Q. Make something big, and kabbara is to say Allahu Akbar. Say Allahu Akbar. That's kabbar al-mu'addin. Kabbar al-mu'addin. The other word we have is takabbara, and I stated that one. Takabbara is to be arrogant. Takabbara. And it has only one meaning, not two. And This is to be arrogant. If you're thinking about the nouns, what you could do is say takbir. And here, I can group it with tafkir. It rhymes. Takbir, expansion, to make something big. And thinking, they share the exact same pattern, but not the same meaning. Takabbara, takabbara, it rhymes with ta'ammala. Takabbara rhymes with ta'ammala. Listen to how I'm saying takabbara. Takabbara. Ta'ammala, tafakkara. To be arrogant is takabbara. Ta'ammala, to meditate or to contemplate. As I'm writing the nouns, I could say takbir, and here takabbur. Another fun aspect about root system, when you have the noun, the nouns would rhyme with the exact same noun of the word that shares the sound. And then the verb also rhymes with the exact same verb that shares the meaning. Like here, ta'ammala and tafakkara. And that would be our last word, which is ta'ammala, takabbara, fakkara, kabbara. Ta'ammala, takabbara, fakkara, and kabbara. ممتاز حمادة. He's saying هو شخص متكبر ولا يحب محادثة مع الناس. ولا يحب المحادثة أو التكلم مع الناس. جميل جدا حمادة. ممتاز. He is, and we are saying متكبر, and it rhymes with متفكر. Thinker as متفكر, and arrogant متكبر. As you write them down, you'll see that they rhyme. When I say rhyming, I mean the short cases. جميل. أمر نشرب شاي ليمون. جميل. ممتاز. Okay, so let's see كبر, تكبر in sentences. And I'll write my sentences in the live chat, which is تكبر. تكبر. There we go. It's too small, so I'm trying to write. I feel your pain if you're typing in Arabic and you still have to look at the video. So thank you for being so good at being engaged in the live chat. So تكبر الرجل. If I'm saying a female, I have to also state the feminine, because Arabic is quite detailed when it comes to gender. And I would say تكبرت. She was arrogant. تكبرت المرأة, the woman. تكبر الرجل وتكبرت المرأة. صحيح. أهلا فاطمة. الله لا يحب التكبر. God does not like arrogance. الله لا يحب التكبر. If I'm going to say the verb after أن, I would say أن تتكبر. أن تتكبر. جميل جدا. ممتاز. جميل. هو شخص متكبر. جيد. So I hope you learned from these words, inshallah. Remember, beginners focus on the sounds. Intermediate levels focus on the roots and the meaning, so you can gather or boost your vocabulary. Beginners focus on the sounds, on the form system, on repetition, 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 and highlighting the words that might be confusing, especially with sounds like K and Qa, Alif and Ain, and all those very detailed sounds. Wahid, I'm a beginner. Could you please suggest me a video or any playlist for me? Okay, what type of beginner are you? When it comes to levels, we have novice levels, students who are still learning how to write and read in Arabic. For those, you could find about 4 videos, 4 steps to learn how to read and write in Arabic. As you are moving to the mid-beginner level, I would say that there is about 10 different videos in the playlist for level 1. You'll find Learn Arabic level 1 playlist in Arabic Khatawaat. There are about 15 different videos that you could follow to learn how to read and write and sound out Arabic. So Wahid is saying, I can read only. So I would suggest that you start with step 15 and up. So you go to playlist and you start with step 15, and then there is playlist for level 2 Arabic learners. Barakallahu feek, Professor Kalamajon Mahmoud. Okay, I think we're done for today. You're welcome, Wahid. Check the playlists and let us know if those are clear. If not, you can just contribute to the community posts and write your questions there. Omar, can you do a lesson on how to write Arabic on keyboard? Where is Fatha, Kasra, and Dhamma on keyboard? That's a good idea. Yes, we'll try inshallah to do that. How to write Arabic on a keyboard. Inshallah. That's a great idea. Thank you so much, Omar. Barakallahu feekum. And I hope you can write down these words. Like we have stated in the community chats, if you do learn words and you don't write them, it's hard for you to retain them. Make sure you write even as a beginner. Writing down any Arabic script will help you smooth your writing and become more comfortable with the Arabic script, looking at it, and make sure you do read your own notes. If you're unable to read your own notes, that means the script is not clear enough, and work a bit on it. Wonderful, Abu Bakr. Jamil Jiddan. Abu Bakr is learning Arabic. He's been learning Arabic for a month. MashaAllah, that's wonderful. You will really enjoy this journey. If you are looking at the sounds, at the root system, you will meditate a lot. ستتأملون في معاني اللغة العربية. You will meditate in the meanings of the Arabic language. You will think about it. You will contemplate, and you'll see that there's so many great meanings that maybe your native language shares with Arabic, or maybe we borrowed from other languages, or other languages borrowed from Arabic. Does the ta in front of a word indicate it's feminine? Okay, great. This one over here, that's a great question. I'm sorry, how about I'll say? Ta'ammala, this one over here is not feminine. This is the verb itself, the infinitive form. Ta'ammala. If I am going to state a feminine, I have to add another T to it. I keep the origin, ta'ammala, and I add another T, and I would say tata'ammalu. She contemplates. Tata'ammalu. Same with tafakkara. It's the root, it's the verb itself, it's the infinitive, it's the original verb. And then if you're stating she contemplates, she thinks, you would put the ta at the beginning in the present tense. In the past tense, you will bring the ta at the end. You can find a list of Arabic verb conjugation in the playlist on Arabic Khatawaat on how to conjugate Arabic verbs in the present tense and in the past. Present tense, you have to put ta over here for feminine. And also masculine, you're addressing anta. Anta tata'ammal. You are contemplating. If you do not have ta part of the verb, all you have to do is change the ya over here. Let me see if I can do that. Here you have ya'mal, it means he hopes. If I'm going to say she hopes, I have to change this one over here and say ta'mal. She hopes. But if I have the verb here, contemplate, and it has a ta, this is part of the verb. It's not feminine. If I'm going to add the feminine, I have to put it over here. Tata'ammal. And if I'm going to change the pronoun or the subject pronoun, I would say ya. Instead of ya for masculine, I would say ta. Ta'mul, she hopes. Ta'mul. Tata'ammal. Here over here, I have masculine. I change the ya, and I would say ta over here. Tatafakka. I already have the ta here. Tatafakka. Here we go. تتفكر. All I do is I change the ya to ta. يفكر, over here, I say تفكر. تفكر. All you have to do is make sure that the root or the origin of the verb has the ta. You do not take that away. It's part of the verb. It's part of the meaning. But you do add another additional ta. جميل جدا. Aisha, you do understand that. ممتاز. جميل جدا. Wonderful. So inshallah, if you have any questions, just post them in the community chat underneath the root post where we have put like kabbara, takbir, and then you could put your words as well there. So thank you so much for joining today. Inshallah, I'll see you in the upcoming videos. If we ever prepare something similar to another class, I'll be sharing that with you, inshallah. So these will go for our classes in lists, and if you are with Arabic Khatawaat, you'll be receiving a copy of this, inshallah, in the upcoming classes. So I'll see you. Assalamu alaikum. وجزاكم الله